So I thought I was ready.
Exercise these demons. Yeah, I'm here for one reason. Exercise these demons. Exercise these what? Exercise these demons. Said I'm here for one reason.
My understanding was that I was fighting somebody that was like 195 pounds. But as you will see in the video, he looked way bigger he looked like he was a solid 200 pounds. But nonetheless, I did my way in, everything was cool, getting myself together, and then it was fight time. And this is where shit got real. I had not been hit until I got in the ring. Remember, I didn't have any sparring before I got in the ring. So I was super nervous, I was almost shaking, right? I wasn't scared, but I was like really, really nervous because I didn't have that experience. This is why it's so important to spar at your local gym. Like, do not feel like it is completely safe to jump off the sofa and, think that you're gonna get in the ring with Mike Tyson, Jake Paul. So the bell rings and it's go time. And I hesitate. I do not throw first. I'm very hesitant, right? As far as boxing goes, they call it being gun shy. And he came out swinging. I'm talking about straight up haymakers out the gate. That was all he knew. Haymakers, 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 right? He was pressing all three punch buttons every chance he got. I covered up, I found my bearings, I got myself together, and I was able to use my jab for the majority of the fight to try to keep him off me, to try to keep that, a little bit of distance because he was shorter than me. It looks like a huge height difference on camera, but it really wasn't. I'm just lanky, you know what I mean? Like, I have long arms for my height, so it looked way more drastic than it actually was. But I was able to use my jab to try to keep him at a decent distance, which was working. My game plan in my head was, use the jab, keep him off me, and pick my shots wisely, right? I didn't want to get into a slugfest with him because that's exactly what he wanted. He wanted to crowd me, he wanted to stay right on top of me and just like duke it out. And if you're bigger, that's not a smart game plan to get into, especially when you've never been in the ring before. So that pretty much was like the whole experience. I didn't understand that when you tie up, this is your moment to rest, right? Even when they tie up with you. So early in the fight, I'm talking about like right after the first exchange, he holds me and I'm like struggling to get him off me, and I'm wasting a ton of energy. I'm wasting so much energy trying to get him off me. And like I'm pushing him back, right? Like he's holding my arms and I'm like pushing him back, and I could tell that he hadn't really done this before either because he's pushing me back and we're like, it's a reverse tug of war in the ring, like it's a pushing match in the ring. And then something clicked and was like, fuck you pushing him for? Like, why are you pushing him? I just stopped. And then he started pushing me back and I just stepped to the side and he goes flying. It was ridiculous. I didn't get a penalty or anything like that, but he went flying. He gets back up, round continues. And I'd have to say one of the many things that I learned in, the 3 rounds was, if you get into an exchange, if you aren't conscious of it, you will stop breathing. I know that sounds crazy, right? Like, what do you mean you stop breathing? it's human nature to get into an exchange with someone and you start to hold your breath because you're tensing up, you're nervous, you're tense, and you're trying to keep that core strength there, right? You're trying to keep everything tight and make sure that you're not just giving anything away. So it's very common for you to stop breathing in that moment. Do not stop breathing in that moment. Select when you're going to inhale, exhale, try to keep a decent rhythm about it, but do not stop breathing because it's going to make you way, way more tired. Something else that I realized that I was doing was because I was nervous, everything stayed tense, everything stayed calm. This is why this is why you train, this is why you spar, so that you get used to these situations and you're not keeping that hand loaded up. Well, I turned the wrong way because I'm right-handed, but you're not keeping this hand loaded up. If you were to tense your arm for 3 minutes straight, right? If you tense your arm for 3 minutes straight, the first couple of seconds, it's not a big deal. I'd probably say about a minute and a half into it, you're gonna be tired. And if you're not used to the situation, you're not trained properly, you're gonna be exhausted immediately. The way that I could describe it is, just because you're a great street fighter does not mean that you can box, because there's so many other things that go into it. Me, myself, that wasn't my thinking, but I realized after the first round, I was like, what the hell am I doing in here? I was still with it, right? I wasn't about to quit on the stool, but after the first round, I went back to my corner. I didn't have like a legit corner man or anything. Like, somebody from the event just agreed to, work my corner for me. Nice older guy. He was cool peoples. But I went back to the corner and I really had a moment of clarity, and I was like, this is nuts. I would never be fighting someone this long in the street. I mean, not that I'd be in the street fighting anyway, but a street fight would never go 3 minutes like this. Somebody would have went back to the car, got that thing, or just decided that it was over. Somebody would have been knocked out by now. But that was my mindset. Like, this is wild. I would never be fighting somebody this long for real. I was very proud of myself about the shots that I did get off. I caught him with a Mortal Kombat uppercut, y'all. We got into a little exchange, still early in the fight, the whole pushing and whatnot, and I just, wow, and he didn't even, like, his head kind of went back into the left on some Seinfeld mess, but it didn't faze him the way that I thought it would faze him. Like, you think, you bring it from, and no, it really didn't. Just because you feel that you're ready does not mean that you're ready. This is why people have coaches. This is why people have trainers. Even though I'm a trainer, it doesn't mean that you can train yourself. You need that external lens focused on you to see what you're doing, what you're getting comfortable with, what your mistakes are. All of that is very important. And let's be completely honest. I took my safety into my own hands, jumping in the ring, not being properly trained, and not having like a team behind me or someone to say, this is what you still need work on, this is what you're doing good, adjust this, adjust that. And then I was so winded. I was extremely winded by the beginning of the third round. Beginning of the third round, I come out of my corner and the referee stops the fight. Apparently, I'm breathing heavy. I'm breathing so heavy that the referee was like, nah, you good. Like, that's it. That's the end of it. So I was pissed about that. I was just like, what the hell? If I could walk out of the corner, then I could still fight. Like, what the hell, man? But either way, it was a great experience. There's highlights of it on Instagram and Facebook and all these different places. But just recently, I went to the 2024 Azalea Fest, and yet again, because of my age, experience, and weight class, 40 years old, 185 pounds, one fight, there's no one in the Novice category at my age. Everyone that's gonna be in boxing and, well, amateur boxing and taking it serious, most of these people started from young. So the amount of competition at my age with my level of experience is slim to none. Like, there's not a bunch of 40-year-old men running around willing to put on headgear and gloves and fight for free, right? Because amateur boxing, you're not getting paid for this. This is just for the experience, the love, for the fun. So there's not a lot of competition. I do still plan on training and, you know, having fun with it. I've reached out to a couple of like-minded gym rats, and I started sparring with them. And it's, you know, I do think that it's gonna stay as part of my training regimen, right? But I don't really foresee myself being able to get in one of these tournaments and like get a chance to really test my mettle, just because of, you know, like I said, the different parameters, the age, the experience level, and the weight class. But that was my experience for my first amateur boxing match. I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world. My kids were there. They saw Daddy in there doing his thing and giving it his best. Both my sons said that they were proud of me. My family was shocked and worried and also equally proud. And most importantly, I was proud of myself. I felt a sense of accomplishment, and that was what I wanted more than anything. Being able to have your hand raised is great, don't get me wrong. I'm not taking anything away from that. I'm not saying, oh, well, it's okay to lose. I'm not one of these participation trophy motherfuckers. I don't believe in that. But I went into it with the mindset of, I want to prepare myself for this. I want to, ready or not, get in that ring and get that experience. And that was amazing.
I suggest you breathe easy, I get all mine from the gutter. I suggest you breathe easy, I get all mine from the gutter. Yeah, I'm here for one reason, exercise these demons.